welcome back to C Squared. I want to welcome our guests, Joshua and Brandon. Welcome, guys.
Hey,
thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys?
Hey, guys. Good to be here.
So, we're going to be talking a little bit about relationships, and we're going to get some subject matter experts over here. So, tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know you're engaged.
We are engaged.
We are engaged now.
Congratulations.
Tell us all how you guys met.
Oh, that's a good question.
I always like to let him start, and then I'll finish up. Go ahead.
He actually just corrects the mistakes that I make, so figure that out. We actually met in Charlotte, North Carolina, many years ago. We've lived in 4 different states together now.
Wow.
We've been together 7.5 years.
Oh, that's a long time engaged.
Yeah.
That's
good.
we've been
Like 28.
We've actually been engaged 6.5 years.
Oh, wow. So y'all got engaged
On the first year, on our 1-year anniversary.
So is the wedding in another 6.5 years?
Maybe.
Four more states?
4 more states. I know. I don't know. We met online initially, and
Was this like on an online website or a dating app?
Yeah.
So, if for those of you out there that remember, there was a site called Adam for Adam.
Oh.
Yes, that was back in the day before everyone was on their phones. You actually had to log into the website yes.
Dial-up.
And
Or an AOL chat room?
Yeah.
Oh,
Party?
Yahoo Messenger.
right,
AIM.
AIM with those
yes.
emotional status away messages. But yeah, so we met on there, and the funny thing is, he actually invited me over to one of his pool parties or something. He was a big player back then, and I said I had something to do, and I couldn't go. And what did you say to me?
I don't know. I said something about, girl, get over yourself. He quickly informed me, after the last segment about gender and sexuality and anatomy, he quickly informed me he was not a girl. And he did not want to go because of that. So he defriended me.
I did. I hit the button.
On what?
That's back when it really hurt.
Did you block him on Adam for Adam?
On Adam for Adam.
They still do, but I just heard.
So I was unfriending folks
Is there
before
an
it
E
became
for
a
Eve?
thing.
No.
Ooh, that
I was just curious if there was an Eve for Eve.
I don't know.
You're
her.
great marketing. You should say that.
Well,
There you
So y'all been
$1 million.
together for 7 years.
Yeah.
7.5
You've
years.
been 7.5. Let me get it right. So you've been engaged
Right.
for 6 years.
For 6 of them.
And so how are the struggles being together for that long? Gay as men, the sexual aspect. Are you open relationship? How does that work? The cheating, give us the good stuff.
Okay. What good stuff do you want to give?
Well, we don't do open relationship. I mean, we've both been in a lot of different relationships over the years, and so it's we know that it doesn't work. So we just decided, monogamy all the way. We work together to make sure that we're communicating a lot. We talk to each other. We know each other's hot buttons, what not to say, and how not to push each other, and we try to avoid those at all costs.
Try being the key word.
So
Right
you're
there.
petty. So you're petty at times.
Oh no, I admit full on. I know exactly when to be petty, how to be petty, and how it gets me what I want. So,
Okay.
sometimes you do have to play those things. But, at the end of the day, I just found that there really wasn't anyone else. I look at that face and that's just, they try to offer, but who could turn that
Can
down?
be
they are so cute.
Okay, I do have a question though, because I've asked this about different couples, especially in long term.
Yeah.
We know as men, like you mentioned right now, as guys, even guys and girls, relationship, whatever it be, sex is really hot and heavy first couple of years, right? But then time goes on, sex goes like this. And all couples I spoke to,
For some.
really?
For some. Not for everybody.
You tell me you're gonna be with somebody for 20 years and want to be with the same
has to be
person?
with
for
somebody for 20
When you a
years.
true
intensity?
freak, when you a true freak, you ain't got to worry about that.
Yes, I agree with you, but that's
get
one freak. What if there's
dehydrated.
2 freaks?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What if one person tends to lower their sex drive and the other thing happens? So my question to you is how intense? So if your sex life was 100% in the beginning,
Okay.
7.5 years later, how is the sex life in comparison to the beginning?
Oh, you're talking about how's it now? Oh,
Yes,
I get you.
I'm talking about.
I know that, right?
Okay, where is it at now? Okay.
That paper ain't gonna tell you.
I'm not asking asking you how many times.
No. I get what you mean.
Is it boring?
After 7.5 years, it's not necessarily boring, but it's just not needed as much. As I think. I'll speak for me. I'll speak for myself. It just doesn't even cross my mind. After 7.5 years, I'm tired. I'm ready to get. Sometimes I come home and I'm ready to throw on some sweatpants and watch Netflix without the chill. But he still puts the chill in it sometimes.
Someone got to be the freak.
Well, no, so I get it. So basically,
Yeah.
after that long period of time, it's more about love than it is more about the whole sex. Now, for me, it'd be both.
What do you think? Heterosexual relationship.
Yeah, it's about from your
Come on, being a woman.
perspective.
Let's say,
Hey, I like a lot of different kind of crazy stuff. So I like to keep it reinventive. You got to make sure to always just keep reinventing yourself in the bedroom. Keep it hot, keep it spicy. And I think it's really important to ask your partners about, stuff that's really important to them and kind of figure out what they really want. Because a lot of people don't ask their partner, what is like your deepest desire? And they don't explore those areas. So it's always good to find out what your partner really wants.
I got a question for you, Rebecca. I know all the viewers are wanting to know, what is your sexual situation?
Well, I'm single right now. Okay, I'm single right now. It's kind of interesting. I don't really feel like I fit into any category, as I've mentioned prior. However, I am sexually attracted to masculinity, and whether it comes in the form of a man or a woman doesn't matter. However, I definitely like to play the femme role, as you can see. But I am an alpha female in my energy. So, and I like to be the feminine gal in a relationship, if you guys know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, all right. Let's hold that thought. Let's give you a few moments, and we'll get back. Take a commercial break.
Everything's alright. Everything's so fine. If you ask, I can give it. 'Cause we're living it now. Everything's alright.
Welcome back to C Squared. So with our special guests, Brendan and Joshua, we of course have Matt, and Matt has something to say. Matt, what do you have to say?
Hey, Brandon and Joshua. So I noticed something about you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you two are an interracial couple. And I know that you guys met in the South. I don't know where you're from originally, but did your parents, your friends, anyone have anything to say about you dating someone who's of a different race?
Great question, Matt. So neither one of us are from the South, but like I said, we met in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we lived in Columbia, South Carolina, and we even lived in Wyoming most recently. And the whole idea of this like interracial gay couple, I would say we were almost like prized possession. There was lots of times where we felt like we were like the hired interracial gay couple to provide the diversity. What do you think about that?
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing we're interracial, but I grew up in a pretty conservative area in southeastern Ohio near West Virginia. I remember going through school and we had 2 black kids in my school, and I always made the joke I didn't know what a Latino was until I moved to Florida. So it was very interesting, going through, like taking him home to my family for the first time, and him becoming part of the family.
Right.
And now, like, nobody says anything, like nobody will greet me or send me a message without saying, make sure Brandon knows, say hi to Brandon, we love our nephews, or whatever the case may be.
That's cool.
And so the struggle probably the most was when we moved to Wyoming, because it was such a red state, and there were no gay people in the town we moved into. I mean, I'm sure there were, but not out. And there were so few black folks or folks from any kind of ethnic background.
Right.
So I know it was a little difficult for me, but I know it was even much more difficult for him to deal with sort of the I don't know, the
I think it'd be hard
hypocrisy
for
and the
any of us
criticism.
Californians to live in
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Ultimately, that's where it came from, because his town in Ohio had a lot of similarities to where we were in Wyoming. Where I'm from here. I'm from Los Angeles, so I'm used to buildings, people, whatever around me, and being out there, walking to your backyard and seeing nothing but desert and dirt for about 5 miles out there were days I just started crying walking outside.
So, I mean, being a couple for a long time, and there's other types of couples out there, right? There's always there's a lot of single people, but polyamory has actually become a big thing in our community. In throuples and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I think that's kind of getting bigger in all communities.
It is getting bigger in all communities. Yeah,
Explain your throuple. Hold on. Tell me. Let me get the information on. Explain your situation.
Define this for us.
Well, a throuple is basically a relationship with more than 2 individuals, so maybe a third. And I was in a throuple for about almost 2 years. Wow. Yeah, so it was a primary couple. It was me and my partner. We were together for about 7 years also. And we're no longer together, by the way. But it's not because of the throuple. Don't blame me. But we invited a third into our relationship, and he was our boyfriend. And it was the 3 of us. And we ended about a year and a half into the relationship. We ended it with him, and then we continued as a couple. But it was a
How
different
did
structure.
being with your boyfriend, the third, affect your relationship after you broke up with him?
That's
one
of the things that we discuss when sort of picking this out, whether it was for us or not. Like the idea that's you would have to give that love and affection to that other person.
You
as
do.
well.
Does it feel like a third wheel?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hold up.
But I think we get so stuck with the idea of the structure, right? It's like you're with one person and you only have the capacity to only love one other individual. But the reality is, if you all in agreement, if you have the communication and a foundation, you're able to disperse that love and that affection with one another.
So why didn't it last?
There's the question. That was us completely other issues. But the thing actually, the throuple actually made us a stronger relationship.
Okay.
Because the thing is, we ended up becoming a team, a stronger team to deal and handle our third. So it forged us to be stronger. So in actuality, it worked for us. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but the reality
So
is.
is there any sexual sort of going on with one group, or do they all have to be all 3 there?
See, that's a good situation.
No, I would go out of town for work at times, and I would say, they stay together, and it's fine.
And I guess if one person don't want to do it, then the other person can.
There you go. Someone's in the mood.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get to boots on the ground.